The morning sun broke gently over the Beijing skyline, casting a warm, golden glow across the quiet streets of the city. Inside a softly lit apartment, Zhang sat by the window, a cup of cooling black tea resting untouched in his hands. His phone buzzed softly against the wooden table, the screen illuminating with a flurry of notifications that he had been half expecting yet desperately hoping to delay. For 2 long years, he and Tian Xiwei had lived a life of stolen glances, whispered phone calls late at night, and elaborate ruses to avoid the relentless glare of the public eye. They had mastered the art of hiding in plain sight, walking separate paths into bustling airports and scheduling secretive dinners in private dining rooms behind locked doors. But today, the heavy secret they had guarded so fiercely was finally stepping out into the light, ready to be shared with the entire world. Across town, Tian Xiwei was wide awake, her heart hammering a frantic rhythm against her ribs as she stared at her own reflection in the vanity mirror. She had spent the last hour pacing back and forth across her room, her fingers nervously tracing the fabric of her casual sweater, wondering how the millions of fans who adored them would react to the news. Their relationship had never been a casual fling, it was a deep, anchoring connection that had blossomed on film sets and deepened through long conversations about their dreams, fears, and shared ambitions in the chaotic entertainment industry. They had laughed together through exhausting filming schedules, comforted each other through moments of intense public pressure, and built a sanctuary of trust away from the noise. Now, the moment of truth had arrived, and the collective breath of their management teams, fans, and media outlets hung suspended in the air. Linghe stood up from his chair, walking over to his desk where a sleek laptop sat open, displaying the scheduled draft of the announcement post that would change everything. He remembered the exact day they realized their feelings had grown into something undeniable, during a quiet evening after a grueling 12-hour day on set when Xiwei had shared her favorite snacks and made him genuinely laugh for the first time in months. From that moment on, boundaries blurred, and a profound romance took root, nurtured in secret corners of production sets and quiet late-night drives through the winding outskirts of the city. They had protected each other's peace with a fierce dedication, knowing that stepping into a relationship under the harsh spotlight of celebrity culture required immense patience and unbreakable loyalty. Yet, the burden of secrecy had always carried a quiet weight, a constant reminder that their most genuine moments had to be hidden behind closed doors and encrypted messages. Xiwei picked up her phone, her thumb hovering over the group chat she shared with Linghe and their closest team members, where the final countdown was ticking down to the exact second. She thought about all the times they had wanted to simply walk down a public street holding hands like any normal couple, or sit together in a crowded cafe without worrying about long-range camera lenses capturing every expression. The desire for normalcy had often felt like an impossible dream, a distant fantasy reserved for people whose lives weren't broadcasted to millions of screens daily. But Linghe had always been her anchor, reminding her with a reassuring smile that their love was real, solid, and entirely their own, regardless of what the external world thought or said. Today, they were finally choosing authenticity over caution, stepping forward together to claim their happiness in broad daylight. The joint statement had been carefully drafted, balancing professional grace with genuine emotional truth, ensuring that their supporters understood the sincerity of what they shared. It featured a candid photograph of the two of them, not from a glamorous magazine spread or a staged promotional event, but a simple, unposed snapshot taken by a friend during a quiet weekend getaway they had managed to slip away to months prior. In the picture, they were both laughing naturally, completely unguarded, their eyes reflecting a profound fondness that no script could ever manufacture. It was a visual declaration that spoke volumes, cutting through the industry rumors and sensationalized headlines with pure, unadulterated reality. They knew the internet would explode the second the post went live, triggering a tidal wave of reactions ranging from joyous celebration to inevitable shock and intense scrutiny. As the clock struck the agreed-upon hour, the post went live simultaneously across their official social media accounts, sending an immediate shockwave through the digital landscape. Within seconds, the notification counters began to spin wildly out of control, refreshing so fast that the numbers blurred into an unreadable stream of data. Hashtags featuring their names surged to the absolute top of trending lists globally, crashing several smaller fan forums under the sudden, massive influx of traffic. Media outlets scrambled to pull together breaking news segments, while entertainment reporters frantically reached out to their agencies for further statements and exclusive interviews. The secret they had guarded like a precious treasure for 24 months was suddenly public property, echoing across millions of screens, timelines, and conversation threads worldwide. For the first few minutes, Neither Ling nor Xiwei looked at their phones, choosing instead to stay on a video call with each other, sharing a quiet moment of nervous solidarity as the world reacted around them. Linghe's gentle voice came through the speaker, reminding her to breathe and reassuring her that whatever came next, they were facing it side by side, exactly as they had promised each other from the very beginning. Xiwei smiled through a sudden rush of happy tears, feeling the immense weight lift off her shoulders as the reality of their public freedom finally began to sink in. They didn't need to hide anymore. They didn't need to look over their shoulders when walking into a hotel lobby or coordinate separate departures from restaurants. The relief was overwhelming, a sweeping wave of calm that replaced the lingering anxiety of their long-held secret. As they finally began to scroll through the sea of comments and fan reactions, a profound sense of warmth washed over them, completely dispelling their initial fears of rejection or harsh backlash. While there was naturally a spectrum of opinions, the overwhelming majority of their fanbase flooded their posts with heartfelt messages of love, congratulations, and unwavering support. Longtime supporters began piecing together subtle clues from past interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and shared public appearances, laughing at how obvious the chemistry had been right under everyone's noses all along. Fan art, celebratory edits, and sweet compilation videos celebrating their 2-year journey together started flooding timelines faster than anyone could keep track of. It became instantly clear that their fans didn't just tolerate their love, they embraced it with open arms and genuine enthusiasm. Industry colleagues and close friends who had been sworn to secrecy throughout the ordeal also chimed in, sending private messages of congratulations and public words of encouragement that deeply touched their hearts. Directors they had worked with, fellow actors, and production crew members expressed their admiration for how professionally the couple had handled their romance while maintaining absolute focus on their respective careers. There was a collective respect for the dignity with which they had protected both their relationship and their work, proving that personal happiness and professional dedication could successfully coexist. Ling and Xiwei spent hours responding privately to their dearest friends, expressing their gratitude for the steadfast support that had helped them navigate the most difficult phases of their secret courtship. The afternoon rolled in, bringing with it a whirlwind of official press coverage and analyses from entertainment commentators dissecting the impact of their big reveal on the modern celebrity landscape. Unlike many relationships in the industry that faced immediate skepticism, the genuine history and undeniable mutual respect between Ling and Xiwei earned them widespread public goodwill. Commentators noted how refreshing it was to see a couple take control of their own narrative rather than being forced out into the open by paparazzi leaks or malicious tabloid rumors. Their proactive approach set a new standard for transparency, earning them even greater respect from brands, media professionals, and the general public alike. They were no longer just two individual stars shining brightly in separate orbits, they were now recognized as a formidable, unified power couple. Later that evening, once the initial storm of digital chaos had settled into a steady hum of positive discussion, Ling decided to make a spontaneous move that would make history for their supporters. He dialed Xiwei's number and proposed something they hadn't dared to do in 2 years, a simple, quiet dinner date at a regular restaurant in the heart of the city, without disguises, without separate cars, and without fear. Xiwei hesitated for a fleeting second, the ingrained habit of caution whispering in the back of her mind, before a bright, fearless smile spread across her face and she enthusiastically agreed. They were finally free to exist in the world as they truly were, shedding the invisible armor they had worn for so long in favor of genuine human connection and shared public joy. They arrived at a cozy, dimly lit bistro known for its privacy, yet this time, they made no attempt to sneak through the back kitchen entrance or hide behind tinted car windows. As they walked through the front doors together hand in hand, the low murmur of the restaurant patrons paused for a brief second before turning into warm, knowing smiles and polite nods from the respectful diners. The host warmly seated them at a corner table bathed in warm candlelight, offering quiet congratulations without making a fuss, allowing them the space to simply breathe and enjoy each other's company. Xiwei looked across the table at Ling, the flickering light dancing in his eyes, and felt an immense surge of gratitude for the journey they had traveled to reach this peaceful moment. The secrecy was officially a thing of the past, replaced by an open, beautiful chapter waiting to be written. Over plates of exquisitely prepared food, they reminisced about the early days of their relationship, laughing softly as they recalled the elaborate disguises, caps, and masks they used to wear just to grab a late-night cup of coffee together. They talked about the close calls on film sets when directors or crew members almost walked in on their quiet conversations, and how those tiny moments of shared adrenaline had somehow made their bond even stronger. Every hurdle they had crossed together had tested their resilience, proving that their love was resilient enough to withstand the intense pressure of public scrutiny and industry demands. They raised their